Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. In today's video, I will be giving you guys my breakdown as well as my predictions for this weekend's Texas Pro. Now, this video does come about a day or two earlier than I would usually do my predictions, but there isn't too much going on in the world of bodybuilding. So my top 6 guys for this show in no particular order: Kamal Elgargni, Quinton Eriya, who isn't on the list, Martin Fitzwater, Steve Kuclo, Andrew Jack, as well as Joseph Mackey. Now, you guys may have noticed I left one guy out, and another guy who could potentially get into this top 6 is going to be Phil Clahar. Now, this is tough for me because Phil is an incredible physique, one of the best backs on any stage that he steps on, but it seems like he's lost a little size since last year. He comes in very conditioned, good back, but these younger guys are just bigger and more muscular, and I think it's going to be hard for him to get into this top 6. Now, if some guys come in off and he nails his conditioning, he'll definitely be in there. But for the sake of this prediction video, I have him outside of my top 6. So breaking these guys down in no specific order, let's start with Andrew Jack, the man himself. Now, Andrew looks incredible, and something I want to point out. When we see a taller guy like Kuclo, everyone's like, you have to see this guy in person. Andrew looks incredible in the pictures and videos that we see of him, so I can only imagine how this guy is going to look in person. And this is the most recent update of him. It was on his YouTube channel. You guys should go check this out. But he's been doing a lot of work with Flex Wheeler as well as Milos Sarchev. And it's great that he's taking in all this information because these guys have a lot of information to give. And if you guys know Milos, he can definitely talk all day. But back to Andrew, this guy has an incredible physique. And the main thing I'm worried about is he going to be conditioned enough to stand with these guys? And as we seen last weekend in Tampa with Akeem and with Keon, when you're a more shapely guy, you don't have to be the most conditioned guy on the stage, but you do have to be hard enough. And something else I noticed about Andrew, he has very long arms, which makes it look like he isn't as filled out as he is. But I'm excited to see this guy on stage this weekend. Now, the next guy we're going to talk about, another taller, more aesthetic guy, is going to be Quinton Eriya. Now, Quinton placed third at last weekend's Tampa Pro. Incredible showing, and he actually said he doesn't know why he was shaking so much, probably just the nerves. But as the night went on, it got a lot better. Quinton has been in a very good headspace, and going into this show, I think he's going to be a lot more confident. I think he's going to present himself a lot better. And he said he's already 5 pounds lighter than what he was at Tampa, so he is going to come in more conditioned. And as I said, a guy like Andrew Jack, we're not 100% sure if he can come in conditioned. Quinton is a guy around the same height with incredible shape. And if he comes in harder than Andrew, I mean, it's going to be hard, guys. Those guys are very close, but Andrew does have a better back. And the next guy we're going to talk about is going to be Joe Mackey. This guy really impressed me, and he definitely deserves to be in my top 6 predictions. He's a guy that's kind of deceiving. From looking at his pictures online, you wouldn't know he was as big as he is. He's a taller guy, as I stated. But this guy has some crazy arms, very, very muscular. He just needs to come in a bit more conditioned. And of course, he has something going on with his midsection, not 100% sure what it is, or maybe just genetically a bad ab structure. And if this guy comes in a bit tighter at Texas, I believe he can shock a couple of more people. And the next guy we're going to talk about is going to be Steve Kuclo. Now, I've been saying Steve is going to win this show for probably like the past month. So, Steve, you have to win this show, my man. Now, Steve is definitely one of the best bodybuilders in our sport today. He placed third at the last 2 Arnold Classics, as well as took third in this year's Boston Pro. Those 3 lineups are some of the most competitive outside. Those are the most competitive lineups, actually, outside of the Mr. Olympia in the past 2 years. Now, Steve has an incredible physique, but he struggles to come in with fullness and conditioning. And as you guys can see on the right, when Steve comes in very conditioned, loses a bit of size in the legs and makes more of a gap. But hopefully he's able to nail it 100% here, because Steve is a guy that definitely needs to be on that Mr. Olympia stage. And the next guy we're going to talk about is Martin Fitzwater. Now, I think a lot of people may be overlooking this guy. This guy has an incredible physique, a great back, a lot of hamstring details, something that a lot of these guys seem to be missing in a lineup like this. Now, he placed 4th at last year's Texas Pro, right behind Phil Clahar. And he also placed 5th, I believe, at last year's Legion Sports Fest, but he was a little bit off with his conditioning. Martin, if he's able to come in condition, bold statement, I believe Martin can place as high as 2nd in his lineup. This guy has an incredible physique, and I don't see why not. I may get some dislikes, I may get some funny comments, but that's honestly how I think. And last but definitely not least, we're going to talk about Kamal Elgargni, who is still killing it in the open at 51 years old. Now, last weekend, he took a controversial 2nd placing to Akeem Williams. We had a lot of very credible bodybuilders, experts at the show, you know, Chris Aceto, John Hansen, just to mention a few. And a lot of those guys pretty much had Kamal winning. But honestly, guys, if Kamal was to win this show, I feel like Hadi Chupin should have won the past 2 to 3 Mr. Olympias. But back to Kamal, he has proven he can stand with the open guys, but he does have a tall task on his hand this weekend with Steve Kuclo, Quinton Eriya once again, and Andrew Jack coming onto the scene. And if any of these guys come in off, then they're going to get beat by the little guy. But I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my top 6 predictions. So in 6th place, I have Joe Mackey. Now, Joe could potentially move up if he comes in a bit more condition. I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but he works with Milo Sarchev, who works with a lot of pros, Samson Dowd, Regan Grimes. But this guy is extremely muscular, and I believe he's definitely going to be in that top. And in 5th place, I have Martin Fitzwater. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I don't want to just bomb this prediction video, but I honestly see Martin placing 2nd. If Martin is able to bring this level of conditioning with his improvements, I'm speaking very highly of him. But I don't see why he can't beat a guy like Kamal. He's a bit bigger, he has a better shape, a better structure. As long as he comes in hard enough, he could play 2nd. But at the Legion Sports Fest, he was off, so I can't really bet on Martin, so I have him in 5th. And in 4th place, I have Andrew Jack. Now, I know a lot of you guys may be confused with why I have him in 4th. You guys have seen his physique. But he's making his pro debut, and I'm not sure how he's going to stack up next to these guys. For last year's Arnold Classic that Nick Walker won, going into this show, I placed him in 5th. I wasn't sure how he was going to stack up against some of the top guys, and that takes nothing away from Nick Walker at all. Andrew Jack could very well come in and win this show, but the main thing I'm worried about is the conditioning and the leg separation from the side and behind. And in 3rd place, I have Quinton Eriya. Now, Quinton came in pretty conditioned last week, and as I mentioned to you guys earlier, he's already 5 pounds lighter than last week, so gonna bring an even drier package. Quinton can stack up with Andrew Jack pretty well, I believe, everywhere except from behind. But that conditioning, man, conditioning matters. That's why Kamal placed 2nd last weekend. And placing 2nd once again this week is going to be Kamal Elgargni. Incredible physique, man, comes in very conditioned. But the guy having 1st, I honestly think he brings pretty much the same package, but just in a taller physique. But then again, a lot of guys are hit and miss with their conditioning, and Kamal is pretty consistent. There's a possibility he could win this show. And winning this show, I have Steve Kuclo. As I stated earlier, he placed 3rd at the Boston Pro behind William Bonac, Justin Rodriguez. 3rd at the Arnold Classic behind William Bonac and Brandon Curry. One of the best in our sport today, but some reason he's just unable to get a pro win. Texas is his hometown. The crowd is going to go crazy for him. And I'm not saying politics are going to help him win, but it's going to be a great environment. I'm hoping Steve can get this qualification and head to this year's Mr. Olympia. And once again, I've been talking about Steve for so long, man. You got to win this show, Steve, or it's going to look bad for me in the comments. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. Let me know in the comment section below how crazy I am for putting Andrew Jack in 4th place. But I'm Krishan from Goat Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.